Welcome to the podcast, Entrepreneurs Share Secrets with Sandra Mossman. And today I have a guest, Joseph Lombardi from Hawk Financials. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on, Sandra.
Welcome. So tell me about your business. What do you do?
So I basically run a national organization with agents across the United States of America. I'm licensed in 50 states, and we use IRS code 7702. We use very complex, high net worth strategies to help save clients millions of dollars over their lifetime on taxation, while saving them hundreds of thousands of dollars of interest on all of their mortgages, their car notes. And we do that by building their own bank using the IRS code that's embedded in permanent life insurance. And then we also do rollovers of people's existing qualified retirement assets like 401ks and IRAs. And we put those in strategies where you can't lose, that have been averaging double-digit returns for 20 straight years.
It's very complicated. So if you say it in simple words, I know what you're working with retirements and life insurance, and you found the way how to save better money, or remove, person don't pay so much taxes this way somehow. If you can explain just simple person, for example, what's your client is, who's your client, and how you, for example, it's your client is 40 years old person and he want to retire. Yes. And you tell him what's the best way to invest with his current money, or how he want to retire. Yes. This is more.
Yeah. So I've written 3 books, right? Being Your Own Bank, which teaches my clients how to basically become their own bank, meaning they want to buy vehicles, houses, cars. They can save the money in the strategy, lean the money out of the strategy, and make money on interest. So my clients, most of the time, depending on market returns, experience what's called a negative interest rate. So imagine buying a car for $30,000 and you're going to pay, let's say, Nissan Financial, you're going to pay them $9,000 in interest over 5 years. Instead of doing that, you invest the money in my strategy, you pull the money out. The strategy that I'm referring to is an index universal life policy inside of a company called National Life Group. Now, by doing that, they've been averaging 14.93% tax-free rate of returns for the last 20 years. So if the loan rate through the insurance company is 5%, but you're earning almost 15% on that money, and it comes to you as a lien against your death benefit, therefore you're earning almost 10% interest. So instead of you paying Nissan $9,000 over the 5 years, Nissan Financial in this example, you end up making $9 or $10 or $12,000 of interest on that loan money while it was in your own bank. And it's a paradigm shift to what the average American thinks, which is I need to go to Bank of America, I need to go to Chase, I need to go to Liberty, and I need to ask them for money. I need to go to my local credit union and I need to ask them for money. Well, what if you can use your retirement assets as your own bank during your entire life before you retire? Because what people think is, oh, I need to put this money in a 401k or an IRA. And then when I'm 59 and a half, and more like 70 now with inflation, I'm going to now start pulling money out of that account, and I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket, which is what the false dream was sold to the American people. The dream is that while you're working, you're going to defer money. There's no saving anything if you defer it. I'm going to defer money in my retirement account. I'm then going to do that for 30 years. And let's say I'm going to save, $100,000 on my income taxes while I'm working. So if I'm making the most money ever made at 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, God forbid, 70 years old, and then now I retire and I'm in a lower tax bracket, what you're saying is that when I retire, I'm going to live in poverty. because your tax bracket, as it goes up, it means you make more money. So if you're not going to be making the most money in your 50s and 60s, and then all of a sudden retire and live on a third of what you were earning, you're not going to be able to, not with inflation, not with the cost of everything going up. So that whole dream that was sold to the American people is turning into a nightmare because people are realizing, oh, now I have to work at Walmart, right? I call it the welcome to Walmart strategy. Right? You're retired, but yet you're working 30 hours as a greeter or a receipt checker at Walmart because you cannot afford to live without supplementing your income because Social Security ain't enough. And most Americans don't save enough. So, and then, I mean, American whole spends 103.4% of our GDP. So for every $100 that comes in as income, we spend $103 when it comes in as a country. So I know my strategy probably is not for 90% of people because they have high interest debt. They have no assets. Their net worth is literally negative with their student loans, their mortgage, their car. But those people that are actually caring about their finances, think of like a gym, right? The people in the gym, in the financial gym, are my clients. The people that are eating McDonald's and Burger King and you know are 200 pounds, 400 pounds, those are not my clients. It needs to be people that care about their longevity financially, that care about building a legacy for the people they love, that care about having their golden years actually be a point of safety and luxury, not a point of impoverished and picking, you know, bill roulette. And if you don't have enough money when you retire, you're going to put yourself in a position where you are financially going to be unhappy until you die.
So I understand there's, correct me if I'm wrong, but two things what kind of you mentioned. The first is people, they put the money on 401k and they forget about this money for like in the future. But your approach is to have this money as your bank and you work with this money on your life. For example, if you need to buy a car, you use it, but somehow through different strategies, you again make more money than like using this money. So this is kind of money, but you interact during the life, not just like you put it aside.
Yeah. So the average American, what they do is they buy a high feed, illiquid, high taxed retirement account where half of that money does not belong to you. So if you save up $1 million, try to get your $1 million out. You cannot because the federal government is going to take their cut. The state's going to take their cut. FICA, Medicare, unemployment, Social Security tax is going to take their cut. And by the time you're done paying everybody else out on your retirement account, you get about half. So when I say I can save my clients millions in taxes and I can make my clients hundreds of thousands of dollars more historically than what you're earning in your 401k and all those fees you're paying, the 12B1 fee, the Class A share fund fee, the money management fee, the annual account fee, the mutual fund expense fee, the AUM fee, assets under management fee, all that you get nothing for. Nothing. And if you're paying 1.5 compounding on the account value, you end up paying half of your contributions to Wall Street in fees, and you end up paying half of your growth and principal when you take it out to the federal government in taxation. So what I'm telling you is there is a legal way, and it was on the world stage. It just went over everybody's head. Back in 2016, during the presidential debates, Hillary Clinton was debating Donald Trump. And Hillary goes to Donald Trump, show your tax return, show your tax return. And Donald Trump says, it doesn't make me bad that I don't pay a lot of taxes. It makes me smart because I'm using the same IRS codes that your donors and you, frankly, Hillary, use. And you had 30 years to close the loophole. And because you've been in politics for 30 years and you did not close the loophole. That loophole is called IRS code 7702. It's what all the ultra wealthy people do, the CEOs, the Elon Musk, the Shohei Ohtanis who get $700 million baseball contracts over 10 years. Do you really think somebody like Shohei Ohtani puts his money in a bank with a $250,000 FDIC insurance? So he's going to put $300 million in Bank of America. And then when the bank ultimately fails, because they always do, just like, you know, the stock market goes up, stock market goes down, bank's liquidity goes up, it goes down. When the bank fails, you think he's going to risk $299,750,000 of his money that's not insured? Or do you think he puts it in 176-year-old AAA rated mutual insurance companies that survived the Civil War, World War I, the Great Depression, World War II, and never needed outsourced money because they stayed mutual? They never had to do an IPO, an initial public offering. So when you look deep down into what the ultra wealthy people are doing, that's what I want to do. When I go to the gym, I find the strongest, muscleless guy and I say, what do you do? That's who I want to emulate. When I go to building a financial plan for my 3 children and my non-working wife, who works very hard because she stay at home, but non-income producing wife, I want to do the best financial strategy for them. So all I do is I copy what the billionaires, and now I could say trillionaires, use. And they use these type of strategies that I've written books on, which unfortunately goes over the head of 95% of Americans because they think the government is their friend, when the government is just there to enslave you, extort you, your labor, and steal your money, because the government does not sell goods or services. The only way the government makes money is through stealing your time, which was transferred into the currency of the country you're in. So if I can help people stop the slavery as much without going to jail, because this is all legal, then I try to help free my clients from the chains of the United States of America corporation, which is not a government anymore. It is run by the corporations. It's run by Apple. It's run by Tesla. It's run. I mean, you look at all the politicians, they all should have NASCAR jackets on. Have you ever seen a NASCAR jacket where they have all the different companies that sponsor them? Like they should have Pfizer. They should have, Google, Facebook, because they suppress your freedom of speech. Like they should have all the jackets on, and people either don't want to realize it because it makes their life feel more anxious, and it's easier just to ignore the fact of what's really going on and live in their little bubble and just, oh yeah, money just gets taken out of my check. I pay car tax, federal tax, state tax, FICA, Medicare, unemployment, Social Security. It's to help the schools, and it's to help the roads. We are the number 1 country, United States of America, in what we spend on education, but yet we're 27th in math. We're 31st in science. We're 29th in social studies. And then you look at our roads, between the potholes, the traffic, the deterioration of our infrastructure and our bridges, that money is going in their pockets, and it's doing it through going overseas with all these wars. So if somebody writes a check for $1.8 billion, who's checking that? Where's the checks and balances in the government and Congress and Senate? There isn't any. And if you're telling me that 400 people wouldn't collude to all make themselves wealthier, then you're silly, because they get to vote on their own raises. Can you imagine if me and you owned a business and all we had to do was just vote? Hey, Sandra, you want more money this year? Sure. Do you want more money this year, Joe? Sure. All right. Raise your hand in favor of 20% raises. Say aye. Aye. So if you don't think this stuff is going on, then you're either blind or ignorant. And you have to do something to correct that so that you and your family can keep more of your hard-earned labor and money and God-given talent that you trade for value in the marketplace in your pocket for your child or spouse, instead of giving it to people who don't care about you.
Perfect. I like it. What's your clients? So you're saying they should be wealthy enough, or they should be they should make enough money, then they're good to work with you, or anybody who want to be financially stable, or understand how important it is to retirement funding. And
so I have a team. I've called strategic alliances with accountants, attorneys, elder law attorneys, which a lot of my team members could be found on my radio show, Money Talk with Ironhawk, that airs nationwide on all publications, Apple Podcasts, CarPlay. It's on Brushwood Media Group. So I have levels, right? If you have high interest debt, it makes zero sense for you to invest in your future when you have cancer of high interest rate in your financial life, eating away the present income you're earning. So a lot of people who have credit cards, which unfortunately that's a lot of Americans because we are brainwashed into thinking, oh, if you want something now, who cares about your future self, and reward your present self at the cost of your future self. And this is a very bad brainwashing that the mainstream media and marketing companies have done in America. And unfortunately, our education system is not good, to be very kind to the education system. So it is producing a lot of dumb people that can be easily manipulated, that can be easily taken advantage of, and it's all by design. So if somebody has a lot of high interest debt, I always advise them, get out of debt before you invest with me. Because I can't guarantee you 29.99 tax-free rate of returns, because when you pay that Visa, you pay that MasterCard. Do you ever wonder why they call it a MasterCard? Because it's a master over you and you are the slave. So when you pay that MasterCard 29.99, you don't get to write off the interest. Isn't that crazy? But you get to write off your mortgage interest.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're paying the bank 29.99 of the credit card company after tax. So I can't guarantee, have I earned that for my client? Sure, I did it in 2020. Was it consistent? No. There's some years they got 35, some years they got 15, some years they got 9. So I tell my clients the safest way to success is to pay off all of your debt and get out of this debt society where you are a slave to the MasterCard, but you're also a slave to the federal government and the state government you live in, unless you live in a few of the states that have no state tax, like Florida. So if you understand what you're doing, which the average American doesn't, it's not your fault. When I say you're dumb, I'm not saying it's intentional. Our school systems are failing us. They're failing our children, and it's all done by design. Do you think they teach in private schools about credit card debt and time management, money? Of course they do. Do they do that in public schools? Heck no. Because the public school is just churning you how to be an employee, and most employees are slaves to the company or the corporation, and these people give their lives to a corporation until they realize the corporation is nothing but a filed piece of paper. That's all Coca-Cola is. That's all Sikorsky is. That's all Google is, or Apple. It's a filed piece of paper in a corporation with a EIN number, and you are giving your life to that. You are not being there for your kids, because when you say, "Hey, can I leave early to watch my sons play Little League?" They're going to say, "No, slave, you cannot. You didn't give us enough time, slave." It's almost like jail, if you really think about it. And again, I don't want to sit here and be super negative and give people depression or anxiety. All I'm trying to do is wake people up to what the real world is happening around you and the steps that you can legally take to free yourself. Now, can everybody do my strategy? No. Can everybody own a business? No. It's very difficult. You need a support system. You need a mentor. You need somebody that's going to be there to protect you and develop you. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't going to spend their time doing that because there's little to no return doing that. So like what I'm doing for my agents is I'm actually meeting them 3 times a week. I'm teaching them everything I know. I have thousands of clients. I have billions of dollars of protection and rollovers with a B in my career. You know, I've won 27 industry awards. I've been featured in International Business Times, Business Insider, Market Insider, The Daily Caller, right? I've done 100 of these podcasts with over 2 million views on Rumble and other various social platforms. I'm trying to take my time out of my day to help people and wake them up. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to make anyone feel nervous. But if people need to know the truth, We live in this false offended society right now in America where people live in their lies and they think living in your lies long term is going to help you. Like 400 pounds is not beautiful. It's obesity and you're going to die 20 years earlier. These are the things that we are being misled and misbelieved. And believe me, look, if you're in a video, I'm no skinny guy. So I'm not going to sit here, and talk down to somebody like that. Because I go to the gym 3 times a week. I'm having protein. I'm eating stuff I don't want to eat. I'm taking supplements I don't want to take because I know the importance of being healthy. Same thing. I'm saving money I don't want to save. I'd rather spend it on myself because YOLO, baby, right? That's another thing we're trained on. You only live once, YOLO. But when you have families and you have children and you have grandchildren to be, if we don't go into World War III and our whole country doesn't get blown up by a nuclear bomb, assuming everything goes well and God protects us, you have a future that only you are going to protect. Only you are going to care about your health, your wealth, your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health. Only you are going to take those steps to make yourself better. And if you're not making yourself better, you're making yourself worse. Because here in this journey, you're supposed to be growing and learning. Like a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. If the caterpillar didn't have everything it needed to go to his cocoon, he's going to stay a caterpillar for the rest of his life. So I try and teach my clients, teach my company partners, because they're not employees and we're all equal, even though I'm the owner, is that we all have to work on all 5 facets of our human self, which again is financial, emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual. And when you work on those 5 things, the financial comes, I promise you. As you grow other aspects of your life, it's easier for you to talk to people. It's easier for you to have self-confidence. It's easier for you to, when somebody tells you no, if you're in sales or you're in any type of growth position in a firm or your own firm, when you hear that no, it's who cares who's next. Not, oh my God, what did I do wrong? He didn't like my cologne. He thought my hair was bad. Oh, instead of spending all your time worrying about what you did wrong, focus on your time of what you could do better next time and keep it moving. And it's so deep. It's not like this 1 hour, you're going to learn everything, but I try to help as many people as I can because we are not taught this. I had to fail several times to say, okay, I don't say that. I don't do this. I don't wear that. I shouldn't do that. We should have somebody that teaches us that in school on how to be an entrepreneur, on how to critically think, but we don't. We are taught how to be an employee, how to be a yes man. Raise your hand if you want to go to the bathroom. That is what we are taught in our school system. They compress our creativity and they jam, random math problems that don't help our lives. When's the last time you used the quadratic formula to make your life better?
Oh my God. You just, Joe, I'm like every word you're saying, I agree it so much. It's when I came again I'm from Latvia and I came to United States and I saw we don't have a credit card. We have a credit card, but we don't have such a big problem with the credit card debt. And it just like, it doesn't make sense for me to have the credit card debt to pay again, 29% of like, be happy for now, but like pay it off every month for it. It's just crazy. Like for me thinking about it. And I agree about the employment when we are just, you understand about too that we have this American dream. What I think I told you before in this pre-interview, what you need to have a college, you get a debt, then you go to the employment, you need to pay it off, and then you get a house, then you get the wife who the she needs so much, and you never get a vacation. You can't go anywhere because you're so miserable because you need to pay off like your debt, you're again for your husband, for your house, for your car and everything. And just like life just ends like at 80 years old because of our dream, American dream.
Yeah, it's a nightmare and it's American slavery. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, debt is slavery. Taxation is slavery. And people don't understand. And they just happily pay all this money in taxes. They happily pay all this money to the credit card companies. And it's like you traded your time for that dollar, and then 70% of that dollar was stolen from you. And that's what people don't understand. And it was stolen from you through bad choices that you did in the past. And that's what I call financial cancer. Because cancer spreads. You know what else spreads? Negative compounding interest. That spreads into your financial life. So, and you're the only one that can cure your cancer. There is no doctors unless you want to go bankrupt. And what will that do for you for 7 years, right? So it's actually some of these people, it's better off going bankrupt and going back to the envelope strategy, where when I earn my money, I put 5% in the Christmas fund. I put 3% in the vacation fund. I put, 8% in the food fund. And that would be a better strategy than having American Express, Visa, Capital One, Citi. I mean, there's hundreds of these credit cards. Whenever you see a lot of things going on, it's benefiting that sector, right? When you think of retirement accounts, what do you have? You have a 401k, you have a traditional IRA, you have a Roth IRA, you have a SEP, Simplified Employer Pension, you have a Simple, you have a 457, you have a 403b, you have a TSP, you have college 529s, chats right out. If it wasn't making the government hand over fist money, they wouldn't create 20 different variants of the exact same thing and say, this one's for state employees, this one's for federal employees, this one's for business owners, this one's for general employees. If it wasn't making so much money, they would not waste their time doing that.
Yeah, and we just bring the money. Here.
And we are putting our retirement money with the government. And what do you think they're doing? Go to usdebtclock.org. It's a website, usdebtclock.org.
Oh, yes.
It tells you our debt. It tells you where our debt's coming from. Here's a fun fact that nobody really understands. Our national debt's like 35.6 trillion, right? We're never going to pay it back. Taxes are going to shoot up because they're going to create World War III. And if you go to the 100-year federal tax bracket picture, you can easily see that if you have any type of brain. So if you go to usdebtclock.org, do you know that they have stolen $27 trillion from Medicare? They have stolen $41 million from Social Security. And we've spent $219 trillion in U.S. unfunded liabilities for our military that we don't have the money for. All this is easily go to usdebtclock.org. The debt is on the top left of the web page. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the web page, there's 3 little red bars on the middle right bottom of it, which shows you 27.5 for Social Security stolen, 41 trillion for Medicare, and 219 for U.S. unfunded liabilities. So I was an economist, right? And it fascinates me to figure out how money works, what it does, how to, make it go faster, OPM, other people's money, arbitrage, how to make money in one place than the other. And what the average American doesn't understand is that you are playing a rigged game. You're playing a game where they are spending your money infinitely. There's no backing of our dollar. It's a fiat currency. So it's only worth what you believe it's worth. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by any type of asset. And then we have so many risks in the United States right now. Our country has been managed so bad. Our politics has been managed so bad. Our education system has been managed so bad. Our infrastructure has been managed so bad. Our borders have been managed so bad that they're intentionally destroying America. And this was forecasted 40 years ago, because we are the last country with a solid constitution and guns. There's no other country in the world that has those two things. And once they get rid of us, it is global control, global currency, social credit scores. If they don't like your hair that day, if you jaywalk, if you type something online, I mean, we're seeing in European countries, they'll come to your home and arrest you for typing something that they don't like. And if you ever watch politicians over the last 30 years, they flip-flop on their positions. We need a strong border. We need an open border. We can't do war. We need war. So it's like if you post something on social media and they can come arrest you, don't you think they can find it 5-10 years ago? And when you posted something 10 years ago, it was totally acceptable culturally. right? Then all of a sudden it's not. They're going to now be able to throw you in jail off of something you posted 10 years ago that was socially appropriate, but now is not socially appropriate. It baffles my mind that these people are giving away their power. They're giving away their rights, their freedoms. And it's like, why aren't you standing up against this while the oppressor is oppressing you? It's just, it baffles me.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, and you told like badly managed, and you think I think it's getting to the politics somehow. Okay. We're getting to the business.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care what side you're on, Democrat or Republican. They're the same wings the two big wings on the exact same bird. I mean, in my opinion, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not big into politics. I'm big into freedom. Mm-hmm. I'm big into standing up for what's right, and I'm big for telling the truth, the hard truth, the truth that a lot of Americans and you know, frankly, a lot of people around the world, they don't want to hear, because it tells them what is really going on, and it sort of gives them shame that they've done nothing. Sort of like during the Holocaust, think of all the people that watched the Jews get onto trains. They didn't necessarily know, but I'm sure there was whispers like, hey, you know, the Jews own everything, we're getting rid of them, and now we get to take all their property, and we don't know what we do with them, wink wink. And they just sat there and did nothing. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of that is happening with our freedoms. A lot of that is happening with all these new laws and regulations. And we're just sitting back while we, you know, an American citizen that I am, we're seeing this really have a grave negative effect on our quality of life, and more importantly, our children's and grandchildren's quality of life.
My husband, he's American, and he talks that society don't tell what your politic view. It's like not the best way to tell, like, are you Republican or you're Democrat? It just somehow people are hiding who you are.
Well, it's all about division, right? Yeah. The people at top, there's this movie called Ants, right? It's a Pixar movie, and I have 3 kids, so I've watched all the Disney movies, and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of what a great company Disney is. But in the movie Ants, a grasshopper said, if the ants ever realize that they outnumber us 100-1, we're cooked. And we outnumber our politicians 1,000,000-1. If there's 400 congressmen in the United States and almost 400 million Americans, you do the math. Literally, you think one congressperson is supposed to represent 1 million people? And people are like, yeah, that's how the government works. It's like, are you kidding me? Do you know how much 1 million people are? Yeah. So, you know, it's really nuts when you really look deep into it. And it's not just a political thing. It's an economic thing. And then if you learn the foundation of where you live, what the rules are, what you can do, you could then find weak spots or loopholes or gray areas that are legal that you can exploit for your families and yourself's prosperous financial gain. And that's what I do for thousands of my clients. Yeah.
So back to the business. When you started, like, maybe you can tell about your education and how you worked, and then now you have your own company, and why you decided to open your own company.
Yeah. So I started back in 2004, and I was in college. I was bartending at a place called Sakura. It's a very high-end hibachi restaurant in Westport, Connecticut, where like Paul Newman came in, Martha Stewart came in. Very rich town in the United States, one of the top 10 richest towns in the United States. And so I was Joe, right, at this Asian bistro hibachi place, right? And they had saku and sudoki and all, but I was like the white American guy. So I had so many people that wanted to work with me because I speak fluently and I'm energetic and I'm fun and, you know, and I smile and I'm very quick and I'm fast and I grind and I work hard. So like I waited on Paul Newman one night, gave me $1,000 tip. I have a picture of him and me on my phone. And if you ever look up Paul Newman, he doesn't take pictures with anybody. And I can show you a time-stamped picture in my phone from 20 years ago almost. So I was working there, and then the CEO of Northwestern Mutual came in and he was like, you are amazing. You have energy. You're attentive. You help build relationships. Like, you are really good. We want to hire you. So I'm like, well, I'm going to college. At that point I was a junior. I'm studying economics and finance at Southern Connecticut State University. And that's where I met my wife, first day orientation. We've been together ever since for 22 years. And I was like, why not? I want to do it. I wanted to get into this industry because I watched my dad fall 3 stories off a ladder. He lost a $25 million construction company. I watched my mother die at 52 years old, cirrhosis of liver from alcoholism, had no life insurance. I watched my grandmother have a stroke. She inherited $4.2 million, my grandfather's estate, Lombardi Masonry. And then within 7 years, the nursing home stole it in Ludlow in Connecticut, in Fairfield, Connecticut, across from Sacred Heart. She lost everything that my grandfather took 40 years to build. So I always wanted to be in this industry. And what really set it off is my dad, after we lived extreme impoverished. I live in a 6465 Main Street in Trumbull. We live in an attic with no running water. We lived there. I ate noodles and eggs with ketchup and hamburger helper with no hamburger meat. And then my grandmother gave my dad a loan to start JV Lombardi Builders. And the thing started really popping, right? Then we moved to Fairfield, and I was the poor fat kid who was bullied every day. But during that time, my dad took me to check jobs, right? Because back then I was just me and him in the van, right? My mom left when I was 4 years old to do cocaine and alcohol and party in Boca Raton, Florida. And that's why she died at 52, because she drank herself to an early grave partying. But, he took me to this house, and it was amazing. He goes, go play with the owner's kid while I price out the job. And so we take an elevator down. I'm like, why are we taking an elevator down? And guy goes, the kid's like, you'll see. So he opens up the elevator. He had a baseball field in his basement. Like an underground baseball field, like a full blown with video games and pinball machines. And the thing must have honestly cost $7 million back in the 90s to build, if not more. And so I had a blast, right? It was unbelievable. And then I get back in the car and I'm like, Dad, what does that guy do? He goes, he works on Wall Street. So I had no idea what that means at 11, 12 years old. I was like, working on Wall Street? Well, that's what I want to do. So I always had this preconceived notion when I was like 11 that I want to work on Wall Street. And I don't even know what the heck it meant. And fast forward now, I'm 19 years old. I'm bartending, waitering. Northwestern Mutual comes in. He goes, you want to work? I said, yes, absolutely. So started working, selling a whole life insurance at Northwestern Mutual back when I was 19, learning the systems, getting licensed. I got my Series 6, 63, life and health, property casualty. And then I was recruited by Barnum Financial Group, which was MetLife. And I worked in Wall Street. And then I worked in Shelton at their main office. And, it just kept growing from there. And my business really took off when I started working with this guy, Mike Lynch. He had his own radio show, Money Talk, on WICC 660 out of New York City. And he had a lot of clients, and I used to bring him all my clients, like all my prospects. And I would sit there and I would learn for over a year how he sold, how his body language, how his tonality was, how he did the application, the presentation, the illustration, how he followed up with clients, how he maintained client files. Well, I just learned everything from this guy because I made him a ton of money, but in return, it made me a ton of money because I was learning while I was earning. And when you can learn while you're earning, it is like a game changer. It is like growth on steroids. Because now I'm growing my intellect, I'm growing my positivity, my self-worth, my confidence, but I'm being paid tens of thousands of dollars a month through the deals that I'm cultivating because I was what you call a master prospector. I started my business chasing trucks on the highway. So my name was the dog because I would drive 100 miles an hour on I-95 and I would pull behind ABC Electric, 123 Plumbing, XYZ Electrical, and I would call the phone number on the back of the truck. And 8 out of 10 times, it was a cell phone because it was a self-employed guy. And I'd be like, hey, purpose of my call, my dad was JV Lombardi Builders. He fell 3 stories off a ladder. He lost, a $25 million construction company. Can I buy you a cup of coffee and show you how that, that doesn't happen to you? And I was getting a lot of yeses. They're like, well, free coffee? And I knew your dad, right? So I did have some sympathy points because my dad was a very big contractor in Fairfield County in Connecticut. So I had a lot of people that were like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that what happened to your father. Sure, I'll give you 15 minutes and you're going to buy me a cup of coffee. So I'd show them a strategy that I've been doing now for 21 years, which builds a financial foundation for your family that protects you from the four things that are guaranteed to happen to you. At least one of them is, most likely two. You're either going to live long, run out of money and die. You're either going to die early and leave your family emotionally distraught and financially distraught because most of the contractors are the breadwinners. Or you're going to get disabled and everything you've worked for is going to be gone, or you're going to need long-term care and you're not going to be able to afford it. You're going to blast through all your assets you earn over your entire working career, which you're trading your body for money if you're in construction. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to throw you in jail, also known as a nursing home. Mm-hmm. So I have a strategy that protects people from that while making you money, while saving you money on taxes, while saving you money on interest. And it is a game changer, and it's been around 176 years. And that was my main focus. I'd say in the last year, I sort of altered my business where I'm doing a lot of Facebook ads, a lot of strategic alliance with estate attorneys and elder law attorneys and CPAs. And they're referring me a lot of people for estate tax issues, right? This is going to be a problem if you're worth over $7 million when you die starting next year, if they don't change the rules in 2 months. Mm-hmm. So these are the things that a lot of the wealthy people have to worry about, but I try to bring that to the middle class community because in our industry, the more money that somebody invests with you, the more money you make per minute you're working with them. Meaning if somebody rolls over 10 million or somebody rolls over 100 grand, it's the same amount of paperwork. It's the same amount of labor, but one, I make 100 times more than the other doing the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. So capitalistic brain would say, oh, find all the super rich people and just, work with them because you're going to make 50 times more doing the same thing than the guy working with broke people. But what I found is that I actually enjoy working at the middle class because even though I own a white collar business, I am a blue collar man. Mm-hmm. You can't erase my poverty, my disselect with my mom, the divorce, me working construction with my dad for years, the job site, the plumber swearing and screaming at the electrician, swearing, at the G, like all that can't be erased from my life. So I come a little different than most financial planners, financial advisors, because I am not that Poindexter with my legs crossed going, yeah, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to diversify the taxation. I'm more animated. I'm more like, this is going to help you. I'm more showing people exactly what the pros are and more importantly, the cons are. I'm showing them the ways they could succeed and then I get a ton of referrals because I'm different. Mm-hmm. In the financial arena. Yeah. This arena is very cutthroat. Mm-hmm. This arena is sabotage, lies over you. There's a lot of, especially in corporate finance, you think like lawyers are bad. The finance sector is the worst sector because there's so much money to be made. Like in May of this year, I closed a deal in 1 week. I made $187,000 in a week. Mm-hmm. Those are all out there if you're doing the right thing for the client with the right build, with the right strategy, with the right structure. Mm-hmm. People get killed for $150 pair of sneakers in the wrong hood if you're wearing Jordans and they want them and they're just going to kill you and take them. Mm-hmm. So if you don't think in the financial world where there's billions and billions, trillions of dollars every day changing hands in the financial world, and there's commissions to be made, there's markets to be made, there's fees to be made. So if you don't think for a second that there's a lot of cutthroat, especially in Wall Street, it was disgusting. I got out. I was there for 5 years. I was making insane money, but I just felt dirty. Mm-hmm. I felt bad. Like my karmatic energy was down. My spiritual energy was down. My emotional energy was down. But I was making money that you couldn't even believe. But to me, if people had to brag about hurting people or that guy's a sucker and like it's like no, I'm not. That's not how I want to leave a legacy for my children to see that that's who their dad is. Mm-hmm. So that's why I left that industry. I started my own firm about 6 years ago, and yes, my income plummeted a lot from what I was making in Wall Street. But now 6 years later, I'm way higher than it was then. Mm-hmm. But it was a grind. It's like I sort of quit the easy money, the manipulation, the BS that Wall Street gives, its high net worth consumers. And I was able to actually help people And when I tell you the peace you get by doing the right thing is worth way more than the money you earn by doing the wrong thing. And when I took money out of my ultimate high and I replaced it with God, it totally changed my life. Because now money wasn't what I was worshiping, it was Jesus or Yeshua, right? I don't want to push my religious beliefs on any of your listeners, but that's just what I use. And when I tell you when I did that, that changed my entire life. I now have 20 agents. I now am I mean, in the last 6 weeks for my team, I opened up $3.4 million in commission. It just it's crazy when you give your life to the light, you give your life to the Lord, and you say, hey, you take control, right? That Jesus take the wheel song, right? It's if you give your power to God, whoever that God is for you, oh my God, my weight's down. I have a personal trainer. I have a therapist. We have a marriage counselor that really helped our marriage. We invested a lot of time and energy on growing who we were. And when I tell you, I feel so much better now than I did making even more money back then in Wall Street. It feels so good to accomplish goals. It feels so good to figure out where you're pointing that dart, whether it's for your business, whether it's for your health, your wealth, your spirituality, your energy. But now I have targets. And so now I can celebrate little victories, right? Just getting to the gym and working out for an hour feels great. Having a personal trainer saying, hey, this is how you do it. And then just doing it, right? And then when you're done, it's a better high than closing $1 million deal when you leave the gym and say, I did something that I didn't want to do, but is now going to bring me great long-term rewards based on the effort I did today.
Yeah.
And it's in all 5 facets.
When I read your articles about you and what you did, I told my husband that this guy really grinded. I read again, you chased your like these big trucks, or you went to the trade shows and you talk with these people. It's very difficult to build a business. And if somebody can tell that it's easy, or you're like entitled, you make so much money, but you went through all of this, like little bit by little bit, you built your business. And it's like, it's so, it just like, it was very like inspiring of like reading it.
Yeah, it's not easy what I do. 95% of people cannot make it to year 4 in this industry.
Yeah.
Because you have to be positive when everything's going wrong. When everyone's telling you no, because you're too young, you're too green, right? You don't understand what's going on. You mess up. You're late. You look sloppy. You spilled ketchup on your shirt because you're eating fast food because you don't have time to actually eat a grilled chicken healthy meal. And it's like, it is chaos. And you have to stay positive. I mean, the biggest thing in my life, believe this or not. So one of my good friends, Jeff, he worked for Amway, right? Amway's a network marketing company. And it was a company that they recruited me to join, but he gave me the CDs. You know, I'm aging myself. What's a CD? Some of your listeners are saying, right? But CDs used to go into the car before, after tapes. But these CDs were for double diamond, like the tie of the high that were on stage. They would record their speeches when they went on stage to become a diamond, a double diamond, what they went through. And what I learned from these Amway double diamond CDs is that if you speak it into existence, it comes. If you believe it, it will come. I mean, if you believe that you are the best financial advisor, over time, if you continuously do that, do the right thing, do the things that the good financial advisors do, and continue to tell yourself that while you're failing and making no money, it's going to allow you to get through that hard time. When you say that, hey, there's nobody better than me. I have 1,000 clients, right? I have 5,000 clients, right? When you speak that into existence, your subconscious mind is now trained with your conscious mind. So, but it goes the other way. If you say, I'm a loser, I can't do it. No, I'm fat. Nobody's going to buy from me. I'm no good. Well, you're going to speak that into existence, right? There's a saying that I used to tell my kids all the time from a book called The Little Engine That Could, that if you think you can, or you think you can't, either way, you're right.
Yes.
Right. And that's such a child's, but in business, oh my God, my business exploded when I believed in myself, when I would tell everybody I'm one of the best financial advisors. And my friends are like, Joe, you've been doing this for 3 months. Just shut up. You're not the best financial advisor. I said, I'm going to be one of the best financial advisors. I am the best financial advisor. And, you train your subconscious mind. I'm telling you, that is a game changer. And you can use that for anything. You want to be the best baccarat player. You want to be the best pickleball player. If you want to be the best husband, you want to be the best father or mother. If you tell yourself, I'm a great father, I'm one of the best fathers there is, I would do anything for my kids. Now your subconscious mind picks us up and says, bing, that's who we are. And then now you will do the things subconsciously to make that a reality, because your subconscious mind's main goal is to pump your heart, right? Are anyone thinking about pumping their heart right now or breathing in, breathing out? No. It's our subconscious mind is keeping us alive. Our subconscious mind is doing all the stuff in the background that we imagine. All we did was think about breathing in, breathing out, heartbeat, heartbeat. Like we would be like it would be the worst existence known to man. But if you have the ability to train your subconscious mind, you can do anything you want to do.
So mindset in the business is like, what's a mindset percentage, and knowing how to do the business. Maybe you have the knowledge, maybe you have a mentorship, and how important it is. For example, mindset is 50% and the knowledge and mentorship is 50%, or mindset is 80% and mentorship and knowledge is 20%.
I probably think it's like 70% mindset. I really do, because I have met financial advisors that were way smarter than me. Like I'm not super analytical. I'm more relationship building. I'm more like, I know this works. I've been doing it for 20 years. I can show you results of it working. But these analytical people are so much smarter than me, but they couldn't create a relationship, or what's called, hit the broadside of a barn if a sale was brought in front of them, So it's having the belief that God put you here for a reason. I don't believe in the Big Bang Theory. I don't think it's an accident why I'm here, and just some rocks crashed together and then all of a sudden eyes were developed and livers were developed and all this just came by accident. I think we're here for a reason. And I think the reason we're here is to grow our spiritual life, because the Bible says we're God's children, and children grow up to be adults. But what do God's children grow up to be? God's. So I feel like we're here to learn and grow so that we can become a higher form of what we are today, like a caterpillar to a butterfly. And so the only way to do that is by continuously trying to work on yourself and making sure that what you are doing, there's a why, and your why is strong enough. If your why is just to make a ton of money, you're going to fail 100 out of 100 times. Why do you think all those network marketing companies like 5 Links and all these other companies that were flyby, that they show you this video of Lambos and big houses and they're like, do you want this lifestyle? And people are like, yeah. They're like, sign up for $59.99 and we'll show you how to do network marketing and sell all your friends and family. And then, 2 months later, you got nobody else to sell to and you fail out of the business and the company keeps your friends and family, right? So your why has to be, I want to be valuable to the market. I want to actually help people. My why is very strong. I was bullied. I was made fun of. My dad fell, got disabled. My mom died with no life insurance. My grandmother had a stroke with no long-term care. My family were broke as heck. Then they were millionaires. They didn't build a foundation. They didn't plan. I've seen it firsthand. I saw the crying. I've cried for weeks when my mom died. I went through extreme anxiety and depression during my life when things happened in my life. And all it did was make me stronger. And the pain that you go through in your childhood trauma and in your life, and we all have it, the pain, you can go 2 ways. You can say, I'm a victim, and then be the weak little person that you want to be so you don't have to be strong. Or you can make that fuel you to say, I'm not a victim. God made that happen to me so I can learn a lesson that I can, if all my successful clients, They didn't have a silver spoon. They didn't have a new car bought for them. They didn't live in a mansion when they were 10 years old. Most of my millionaire and some of my billionaire clients, they came from nothing. Mm-hmm. They busted their butt day in and day out to build something because their why was so powerful. Their why was so strong that if they can go through all that pain, all that suffering when they're a child, what do you think they're going to do when they're an adult? They're going to take that to fuel them and say, there ain't nothing going to stop me. If I got bullied and picked on and thrown in lockers and swirlied and punched in the face and I was helpless because I didn't know karate and I couldn't protect myself, and you think if somebody tells me no, it's going to bother me? Are you kidding me? I can care less if I meet with somebody and they're like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm like, sweet, you don't have to. Mm-hmm. Bye. Next, so, but the other people that had such an easy life, they're like, oh my God, that guy said no to me. That was a referral. And that was a referral from my good friend. What did he say? No. So you can go back to that referral and say I was a bad person. Did I smell? Did I have something stuck in my teeth? And it's like, dude, really? It's like, it really comes down to your why, your positivity, your self-belief, and your self-worth. And I'm telling you, being the poor fat kid in a rich town, my self-worth was zero. But it allowed me to realize as I get older and out of school that part of me was needed to grow. That part of me, I needed to suffer. I needed to understand what the real world was like so that I can be positive, that I can, instead of going against that and becoming a villain and saying, I'm going to hurt the people who hurt me, I can become a superhero and say, I'm going to protect people that were like that. Mm-hmm. There's always two roads to go. You always have a choice in this world. You can do the right thing or you can do the easy thing. Mm-hmm. Those are the two options you have every single day of your life. Is it easier to go to McDonald's or is it easier to make yourself a grilled chicken on the grill with some green beans? Is it easier to go to the gym or is it easier to play Call of Duty or PlayStation 5 or play on your phone? Is it easier when you have a fight with your spouse to say screw her or I'm not going to deal with it, or to go up to her and say, hey, I apologize, I said this wrong? There's always a wrong way, there's always a right way and an easy way. And unfortunately, our society is trained to always take the easy way because the easy way is a credit card. The easy way is an employment, not a business. The easy way is to just take what you can get today and who cares about your future self, because we're not going to live that long, and YOLO, and we're not going to, I'd rather spend the money now than have something later when later is all you care about your grandkids and then you're broke. You can't even, buy them a birthday present. That'll feel great. Right. Mm-hmm. So there's the easy way and then there's the right way. And the right way is always 100% of the time harder than the right thing to do is always harder than the wrong thing to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I like how you see what happened with you with to be grateful for, like whatever when you're a child, and maybe you were bullied or what happened, you're grateful for it, that thank you maybe for these lessons. Because of it, I'm stronger right now. I can deal with the customers and build with this successful company because I know how to be strong.
Well, yeah, when your own mom doesn't want you and your mom rather have drugs and alcohol than love you, that was the hardest thing I ever went through in my life. Mm-hmm. And it took years of therapy to understand that the best thing that could have happened to me was her not wanting me, because to me, be around drugs and alcohol at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old in Boca Raton with, what else goes down there and stuff, to be around that, it would have totally warped my reality and I would not be who I am today. Mm-hmm. So it was actually thankful that my mom didn't want me, because I was in a healthier space, even though my dad worked 80 hours a week and I was raised by daycare. I really didn't have any role models in my life growing up, but it was better to be raised by my dad, who was working 80 hours. I saw him very little, just really Sundays is the only time I really saw him growing up. 50 days a year I saw my dad. The other 300 and something I was in daycare, or my grandmother dropped me off my daycare at my grandmother's, and she would just chain smoke cigarettes in the kitchen and give me headaches every single day, and then, so like, that was a better existence for me than being around the fast life, the fast cars, the fast money, I have to be thankful that my mom said she didn't want me, instead of looking at it as like, oh, my own mom doesn't like me, I must be worthless.
And it's such a difficult, I understand, like you went through a lot of years of therapy, and right now so many people, like so many kids they blame their mom or like their dad, and then they give up on their life.
Yeah, they play the victim. It's so much easier to play the victim than play the superhero.
I hope, are you a speaker, like public speaker, where you can do the like speaking events and encourage people?
I'm trying to grow. I've been investing a lot of time and money into growing. That's how I got on your podcast. It's just trying to grow. And I want to be somebody there to help people. Yes. I mean, my business pays all my bills. I don't have to work anymore. I could have been retired in my 30s. I just turned 40. I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to, but I want to, because I want to make a difference. I feel like God has put me in this position to actually help people. And I'm going to help as many people as I can, because I know that I've sinned. I know that I've done wrong in my life, but I know that God has given me the tools to not do that anymore and be, a really good person. And that's all I'm trying to do day in and day out. And I feel sharing, not the gospel, but just sharing your life story and being vulnerable in front of people is something that we're missing as a country. And we're missing that open talk. And it comes down to, oh, you're Republican, I hate you. Oh, you're Democrat, I hate you. Oh, you're this sexual orientation, I hate you. Oh, you're this hair color, I hate you. Oh, you like the Red Sox, not the Yankees, I hate you. Oh, we're trained about division. And if we could just be vulnerable and realize that we're all very similar, like very similar. What, we're 99.8% DNA is the same, but we try to divide us by hair color, height, weight, skin color, gender now is the new one that they want to throw in there to divide us. And we need to step up and stop this from happening, because if we keep allowing the governments and the people in power to divide us, we are always going to be taken advantage of. We are always going to be minuscule to them. And in my belief, we're all equal under God. And if we're equal, why is there governance over somebody that I'm the same equality as them? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
So go on.
I just asked, do you want to go into politics too? Like you're politics and motivational speaker. I think everybody just need to just connect with you and like know what maybe is the truth, and like people maybe don't see it or they don't want to hear it. And you have such a great story about it. And
I think if I go to politics, I'll be assassinated, because I'm very different than most. And I don't think there's a lot of truth in politics. I think it's, hey, you're my buddy. We're going to pretend that we have this big thing that we're fighting against, but in reality, we're just laughing to the bank together. Okay. Got it? I've got it. So I feel like, because I was a lobbyist for ALU. I have pictures of being in the White House after 5 o'clock, going to special dinners, and paying off politicians to keep life insurance tax free. Because, like they can vote to make it taxable. Like, people that have it are grandfathered in, but they can still kill the business. And for 176 years, they haven't, and then they won't, because it's basically a retirement account for them. They're not going to cancel. They're just not going to allow us to advertise. They're not going to allow us to tell people about it, because they need your money in a 401k or IRA, because it makes like 15% of our gross domestic product as a country, because they're holding your money, they're spending your money, they're leveraging your money, they're doing money derivatives on your 401k and your IRA, and they're creating money out of thin air. Where do you think our national debt comes from? There's not $35 trillion of cash in circulation. So how do we owe $35 trillion? Do some critical thinking, please. Yeah. But yeah, what I want to do is I want to do whatever God designs me to do, and whatever doors open that my gut feeling tells me I need to take. But I mean, ultimately, I want to be like the Dave Ramsey. He actually hates annuities and life insurance. He thinks we're all just here to suck people's money, and we're like the antichrist for middle class. Yeah. I want to be the pro annuity and IUL Dave Ramsey guy who still wants to help save your money, who still wants to do a budget. That's why my radio show has budgeting, has planning, has everything on it. 'Cause I do honestly want to help people, and I do honestly believe that instead of buying term insurance and investing the difference long term, you're going to save yourself a lot of money, make yourself a lot of money, leverage your account, and not just handcuff your dollars for decades. I think that's done. I think if you're 20, 30, 40 years old, putting money in an IRA or 401k is the stupidest thing you can do, because you're handcuffing those dollars for decades. And what if an opportunity comes? What if the market crashes? What if you want to buy out a competitor? You're not going to have the liquidity you need to do that. And now you got to go to the bank, take out a loan when you have the money to do it, but you just gave it to the government, silly. And then you're paying the government an interest rate to take your own money back. Come on, wake up. Like, it drives me nuts that these people don't get it. It's all a game of Monopoly, and they haven't even read the instructions on the game. And these guys have already been playing for hours.
So you have a company, and are you looking for more agents, or more agents maybe?
Yeah, I've God spoke to me about a year ago, and I used to look at agents as competition. Like, they're bad, because I was in the sabotage corporate Wall Street in New York City, Manhattan. And since that, I'm trying to help agents now. So I have three training classes every single week that I run. I've grown from 0 agents to 20 agents in 3 months. A lot of agents are learning about Iron Hawk. I'm trying to take the best of the IMO, which is the individual marketing organizations, and the general agencies, and then the network marketing companies itself. I'm trying to build my own type of spin on it, where you're getting the best of all three, right? You're getting the high comps of an IMO. You're getting the training of a general agency, where you give up a lot of your comp for the training. And then the best of network marketing, where you can build teams, but I'm not taking 80% of your labor, right? So I'm trying to find a way to not hurt people and, excuse my French, screw people, which a lot of the financial industry is set to screw you. And I've been through all forms of it for 2 decades. I've worked at MetLife, Mass Mutual, Guardian, Penn Mutual, Northwestern Mutual. I've seen it all. I've seen the little things this company does to steal money from its agents. This company does to promote some product that may or may not be in the best interest of the client. They brainwash you thinking this company's the best. This company's the best. When it's not. When I was at MetLife, they sold auto insurance, homeowners insurance, annuities, long-term care, life insurance, disability, and they told us we're the best in everything. And then you go to the open market and you realize at the time they weren't the best in anything, but your sales manager told you they were the best. You know why they're the best to the sales manager? Because the sales manager gets paid when I sell a deal. That's why it's the best, not the best for the client, best for the company. So me being a broker, I don't give a crud what the company is, as long as they're A+ rated, as long as they're mutual, as long as they could show me a lengthy track record of success, then I will offer that to my clients. And believe me, I make so less money selling A+ companies than I do selling B++ companies, because those B companies are dying for new funds. The A+ companies have more access to it because they're a better strategy. So I could screw my clients and sell B++ paper and make 2 times, 3 times the amount of money doing the exact same thing. Or I can do the right thing, make less money, but know that my clients are in a position to win, which the referrals will come, the repeat business will come in the future, and I didn't lose that relationship. So I play the long game. We're trained in this society as sort of like a short game, type of success. And in my opinion, short-term gains are long-term losses.
Yeah. I just remember it's instant gratification right now. People just need right now, and they want to feel good right now. Don't think about long-term. And another maybe last question is, so you're looking for agents. Do you have a perfect agent portfolio? What kind of you would like to have people in your company? And if you have this person in your company, how maybe you can give him 3 tips how he can succeed in this market, or how to succeed as a financial advisor? Or
it's not easy. I'll tell you that right off the bat. it is very difficult. You are the marketing, you're the back office, you're the sales, you're the relationship specialist, you're the product specialist, you're the closer. Like, you are everything, and it's very difficult. So, if you want to get into this field, it's not easy. Just know that. But if you can't lose if you don't quit. Right? If you keep playing the same game over and over and over and you're not winning, as long as you have an opportunity to hit restart and play that game again, you technically didn't lose, because you can then try again. So this business is not for everybody. You have to have a Class A personality. You have to be able to speak to strangers confidently. You have to be able to present yourself in a manner that you deem is appropriate. You need to be polished, but you can't be a snake. And your ability to your why can't be, I want to make a bunch of money. Your why actually does have to be, I want to help people. And if you want to come, look for employment at Ironhawk Financial, we have a contact us on our website, www.ironhawkfinancial.com. I am looking to grow, find licensed agents. It doesn't matter what state you're in. I'm licensed in all 50 states. We have training courses to help you. If you're somebody who's about to retire and needs help with your retirement, you can always go to Ironhawk Financial, contact us, fill out your email, your name, and your phone number, and either myself or one of my team members will reach out to you to book a meeting, discovery call. At the end of the day, all I'm trying to do is help people. I know I'm doing the right thing. God is showing me that I'm doing the right thing. I now have a team where I'm a leader, and these people admire me, and they're looking up to me, and they're thanking me for teaching them. And there's nothing better as a leader when the people that trusted you are getting better and you are providing results. Like, I had one of my guys, Namir, he was amazing at intellectual communication. He just didn't have the self-belief to do the close. And we do every week we do role playing in front of the whole company to get everybody better. And he sounded just like me. And when I tell you I sounded like a proud papa or like a proud father, it felt really good. I'm only like 3 years older than the guy. It's not like the guy's 20 or anything, but it just felt good to know that this time, effort, energy, money that I'm pouring into my agents is reaping results, and it's very exciting.
I love it. And to schedule the call, is it just free call where you can tell your strategy and how you can help or you can't help, or like what they can benefit you, your services? Yes.
So what I'm doing is I'm building all FAQ videos, but as of right now, I have a YouTube video. If you want my free books, if any of your listeners want all 3 of my books absolutely free of charge, Being Your Own Bank, There's a Better Way Than a 401k, or Long-Term Care Without Long-Term Pains, just write an email to Joe, Joe, at Ironhawk Financial. That's Joe at Iron, like the metal, hawk like the bird, financial.com, all one word, and just put free books. I heard you on Sandra's show. Would love to get copies of your free books. I'm not going to hound you. I'm not going to bother you. I'll send you my Calendly link if you want to hop on a Calendly and have a quick Zoom meeting to see if there's any opportunities for us to do business together. If not, you just want the services, the information, I will give it to you free of charge through PDF. So write an email to Joe at ironhawkfinancial.com, free books, and I will gladly give that to you for free.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Joe, for a useful conversation. And I think this conversation was more about the mindset, really the mindset of building a business.
Yeah, it's just trying to get as much information out there and wake people up. And I may say things that offend people. I may say things that they don't want to hear, but I guarantee you it's the truth. And if you don't want to hear the truth, I apologize. But I believe that if more of the truth was communicated, we'd be able to make better informed decisions, and we'd be able to take more control over our happiness.
I love it.
But thank you for having me on your show. This was a blast. And
Thank you.
really,
Thank you,
really
Joseph.
cool.
Thank you, Joseph.